Hello, this is wmpyr. For today's lesson, I want to focus on the angles of attack. More specifically, this is about evolving, progressing the angles of attack form, which I believe is extremely important. There's many ways to do it, but in this video, in particular, we're going to focus on the skill aspect, okay? So probably the most common thing that people teach is right hand. You practice the form with your right hand and then also practice the form with your left hand, okay? And that helps because you use right and left hand in real life. Even if you only have one weapon, you're still going to you want to be able to use that left hand together. Now, it's not just about that though, okay? When your right hand, let's say you're right-handed, your right hand's probably going to be, 3-4 times better than your left hand. So when you practice with your left hand, you're going to be like, oh boy, and you might get stuck, and you're like, how is that again? So then you go back to the right hand, and in other words, the right hand has to teach the left hand. So you're getting practice teaching. In order to teach, you have to really know your material. If not, you're going to be a poor teacher. So it helps you understand your material better in that sense, okay? And then if you ever decide to teach somebody, you'll have that kind of practice. So it's good to go right hand, good to go left hand, okay? It takes patience and whatnot, so there's a lot of good attributes you're learning there. Now, the other thing that is commonly taught is to control the speed and also control the power. Remember, power isn't strength. Power is speed plus strength. That's why it's explosive, okay? So control the speed is how fast, literally, that you're doing it, So boom, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The downfall I see with a lot of people is not when they speed it up, but when they slow down. A lot of times the form becomes really, really bad. So they start going, like they're lazy. What you want to do is make sure that even when you slow down, you're still doing it solid, okay? You're still putting in the proper body mechanics. So that is something to keep in mind. The other thing with power is, these are related. If you control the speed, so if you increase the speed, you increase the power. If you decrease the speed, you could decrease the power. So that for sure is related there. How hard you're hitting, right? So are you hitting hard? So to be going 100%, 50% power, 70%, 30%, you want to be able to control that. All that is very useful in a real life self-defense situation because changing the speed can throw them off, makes it harder for them to read you. And then controlling the power makes sure that you don't go 110% every time and then you're done in about a minute, okay? You don't want to deplete your stamina that quickly. And also, if you're going 120% all the time, you're going to be off balance, you're going to be swinging huge, you're going to be wide open, lots of bad things can happen. So you want to be able to control that because under the adrenaline, you're going to want to go 120, 30%, okay? So please practice that. It's very, very important. The next thing is, let me do the 5 angles of attack. I really like this form. I saw Danny Inosanto do the number 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see me do it on YouTube all the time. The number 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Well, once again, I saw Danny Inosanto do both of those on a YouTube video about 10 years ago. And I liked it so much because they're so short, easy to remember, that I've been doing it ever since. And I like it so much, I teach it, use it on YouTube all the time, and I teach people in person. The one that I personally learned in the early 90s was a 12 angles of attack form. And then I learned another set, and then I learned a 24 set, which I don't even remember. See, I'm not good at memorizing long forms. I was never good at like Kung Fu forms and stuff. The people that can do that, I mean, that's amazing. I just not good at it. So these are nice and short, so I like that. So let me just do that again. It's diagonal down, side, side, and then stab. Okay, So the first technical progression, other than what I've already explained to you guys, is to add a stab at the beginning of each move. So you stab and then you go into your slash. Stab and then do the number 2 slash. Stab, number 3 slash. Stab, number 4 slash. And then you stab, and you can stab twice if you want. Okay, so add that stab move in there first. Okay. The next one is, and that's very, very commonly taught. The next one, also very, very common in Filipino martial arts, is to add a circle. So you're, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you could add a circle and stab, or you could stab and then add a circle. We do it both ways. Okay, so adding that circle is, I think, very vital, and also very, very commonly taught in the Filipino martial arts. So the next 2 that I want to share with you guys is something that it's something that I came up with. Okay, so I'm not saying this to say I'm the inventor, you know, nothing like that. It's just good to know where the material comes from. That's why I mentioned the number 5 and number 6 come from Danny Nosanto, right? The ones that I mentioned right now, to stab and slash and then circular motion and then slash, those are so common enough that I don't think I can even really cite where I got it from, because, once again, everybody does it. But this next one, I came up on my own. In other words, no one taught me. I'm not saying I'm the inventor, because anyone who's done this for any amount of time will probably naturally come up with it. But I'm just saying I taught it to myself, or I discovered it for me. And that, the first one is to make everything a stab, okay? So even though I start here and I'm going to finish here, right, that's the slash. So normally we go to the neck, and then it would start at the neck, cut across the body. So I'm still coming here, I start here, come here, and I finish here, but it is a stab. See, that's a stab, and I still finish here. So number 2 is now up here, and it's the same thing, but instead of slashing, it's going to be a stab. Okay, so I cut in, and I stab right there, and come and finish where I'm supposed to finish. Same with the sideways, okay? What's really the difference is I'm focusing more on this area rather than here, okay? So this is the sweet spot when you want to strike like this. So that's not what I'm doing. I'm focusing on here so that I could sink a part of this in there. So that's my stab. I mean, it may not be a full stab like this, but this is still a stab that I'm going for, okay? Right there, and come back. And then same with here, stab, and then over here too. That is a stab right there, and retreat. So that, changing all the slashes into a stab, makes it much harder for your opponent to read. Highly recommended. Last but not least is the micro grid. Do everything 2, 3, 4, 5. Much, much smaller. So rather than going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm now just going 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so make it really small. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.